In this episode, we'll be talking about producing courses for top industry experts like Zig Ziglar, Grant Cardone, Daymond John from Shark Tank, and many more, all with Lightspeed TV.
Welcome to the Online Course Coach Podcast, brought to you by TrueFocusMedia.com. Whether you're a beginner or expert, this is the podcast for the latest in online course creation tips, news, interviews, and ideas. And here's your coach, Jeff Long.
Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. If you're brand new to the podcast, this is a podcast where I get to interview authentic industry experts about their successes and how we can apply these principles to our own courses. My background includes corporate training with Fortune 500 companies, creating custom learning management systems with online influencers, producing engaging course videos, marketing courses, and everything in between. So my goal is really to take my extensive experience and help more people create courses so you can impact more people. Oh, and I didn't mention my parents are both teachers. I come from a family of educators, so I love to teach and train. But before we get into the show, I announced last week the Course Accelerator coaching group, and it's starting September 18th. So it's a 6-week coaching program, and it's really perfect if you haven't been able to create your own course. So maybe you're overwhelmed with the technology, or you've been too busy to dedicate time to create your course. This group is perfect for you. It'll help motivate you and keep you accountable. And just think, by investing in yourself for 6 weeks, you can have the foundation to not only create one course, but the knowledge to create as many courses as you want in the future. So really, your earning potential is unlimited. And so here are just a few things that the Course Accelerator coaching group has. You'll not only get personal access to me, which I think obviously is awesome, but even more awesome is the group of motivated course creators. So I really think it's kind of that philosophy of a rising tide lifts all ships, right? We all help each other. We all grow. We all learn. So yes, I will be there in depth to answer questions, to give you help. But I think as we ask each other's, opinion and advice and get each other's feedback, that's where it's really going to be powerful. Now, we're going to be doing these weekly video calls. I'll be recording them. So each session will be recorded that you can watch and rewatch both during the 6-week program as well as after, so you can revisit any of those sessions that you want. You'll have access to a private Facebook group where we can all interact. And we'll go over my proven plan to help you create your online course, even if you're not a techie. So I will be answering questions on technical things, during the program. But we're not going to go into, how to hand code a website using HTML, CSS, and PHP. All right, we're going to find the simple tools to get you up and running, to get you results. And then, hey, when your course is selling a ton, then you can, create a custom website if you need to or whatever. We'll determine that. I have a feeling some of you will want to use your own website. Some of you will want to do it simple, and we'll talk about some different strategies and techniques to keep it as simple but effective as possible. And then we'll also go through and create a customized marketing plan for each person to grow your audience and increase your sales, even if you're just starting out. So if you have an audience, we'll go through ways to increase that audience, that email list, that influence. If you're just starting out, I have some powerful strategies and systems where you can build that audience and influence even before you create your course. Now, the good thing is this is cheaper than my one-on-one coaching plans. So you still get all the personalized help to create your course, but at a cheaper price. And like I said before, it's really investing in yourself so you can build that foundation, because I would hope that you wouldn't just have one course, but you would have multiple courses. That way you have multiple streams of income. And that way you can help more people, right? And that's what it's all about. So it is starting September 18th, when we're going to meet every Tuesday, and it's limited to up to 10 people. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching to learn more. I have a short video on there. You can read more. You can look at the 2 packages and see which one works best for you. I have kind of a cheaper package, and then I have more of a deluxe package that has a bunch of bonuses that I think are pretty cool. So fill out that application. It is kind of a first come, first served, but also the best fit, for the group. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching. And today I get to talk with one of the industry leaders who have been producing courses and materials for some of the biggest names in the industry. People like Zig Ziglar, Grant Cardone, Daymond John from Shark Tank, and so many more. And so Andrew and Jennifer are both on the interview here today, and they're from Lightspeed. So they want to share how they've helped some of the biggest names in the industry. But don't worry, all right? Even if you're not a well-known TV personality or a big name star, there's really a lot of helpful tips and strategies they share throughout the interview. And so I wanted to get them on because they come from such a high level or a well-experienced industry. They've helped a lot of people. Their platform is really amazing. It's funny. I was doing some research for a client and he said, "Hey, I really like how this person has, their course like this and that person has their course like that. How can we build it?" And one of the people he sent me a link to had their course on Lightspeed. And so that was, just cool to see their learning management system in play or in the real world. Now, it's very interesting. I met Jennifer, who will be on the interview here in a minute. I met her at Social Media Marketing World. You've heard me talk about that over the course of the last couple interviews, I'm sure. And I met so many people at that conference that are course creators in many different industries. People that own construction companies or people that run learning management systems. The whole gamut was there, and that was really cool. And so I wanted to have them on because of their industry expertise. Now, like I said, if you're not a big, TV personality or a big name star, there's still plenty of helpful tips for you to learn in here. And we talk about some of those high level things, but we talk about some very simple things that you can implement into your courses. Now, I know you all want to create high quality courses, and with that comes high quality course videos. But maybe you're not able to spend the type of money like Tony Robbins can, or a Zig Ziglar, or somebody like that. But you still want to make effective course videos. Then you really need to check out easyvideoforcourses.com. In this course, I give you the most important things you need to know to plan, create, and distribute your course videos. And I go and I share my resources for stock footage, for graphics, and even where to get awesome PowerPoint templates if you have to use PowerPoint. Because sometimes people do, even though that's not my highly recommended way to do it. And you'll learn more about that in the course. I'll even share with you, what equipment to buy. And most importantly, how to feel comfortable and confident if you need to be on camera, and some of my editing secrets that I've been doing for almost 15 years now. Now, you'll probably notice right when we get into the interview that there is some echo with Steve, but we fixed that. So if the first few minutes are bugging you with the echo, don't worry. Keep listening in, and that echo will be stopped pretty quickly. Well, let's get right into the interview today. I have Andrew and Jennifer on both at the same time. I wanted them both to give the different perspectives from their expertise. So Andrew Hall is the lead system architect and production manager at Lightspeed VT Midwest. He has a degree in sociology and a background in management and technologies. The aspects of his position that he enjoys most are the problem-solving elements and being able to find creative solutions for clients to help them grow their business. I love that part, by the way, because I love helping companies grow their business. So that's pretty cool that Andrew does as well. Andrew also enjoys playing music, critiquing movies, and travel. And Jennifer Herring is also with us. She handles marketing at Lightspeed VT Midwest. Her background in graphic design, printing, mailing, marketing, and teaching made her a great fit for the business and what it offers. She enjoys networking at local events and working with entrepreneurs to help people build their businesses. When she isn't doing that, she's working on her own projects, spending time with her husband and 2 kids, or doing something to stretch her creative muscles. All right, Steve, Andrew, and Jennifer, thank you so much for being on the Online Course Coach podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Steve, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started with this whole e-learning and online course revolution.
Well, we had a business that would travel around the dealerships and collect their data, take photos of their inventory, distribute them where they wanted to go, and that is where we met Lightspeed VT's founder, Brad Lee. Brad was a GSM. He also was a very good trainer. And so as Brad was developing some training, that was back when DVDs were what you used. And as he was selling DVDs and with money back guarantees, all of a sudden people were wanting their money back. And then through his due diligence was finding out that people weren't even looking at the DVDs. So that was the birth of Lightspeed. He met our chief technical officer, Jason Straub, and they developed a platform that now had testing and accountability. So when we first got started, obviously we would take people's existing content, make it into chapters, courses, and with test questions, and then that's kind of how it got going. But as it evolved, we built our own studio, and we're able to create content that had a lot of interactivity, more toward the immersive learning type of philosophy versus just talking head. It was high graphic, just basically trying to get the user experience up to where by using the interactivity and using simulations on testing, the end user could actually comprehend and retain what we were trying to teach them. So that's kind of a quick, short story of how, why, and how the birth of Lightspeed happened.
Yeah, that's so good. And I like that, like with any good company, whether it's large or small, you grew where, you skated to where the puck was going. You didn't just say, well, hey, we've always done DVDs. We're always going to do DVDs. That probably would have put you out of business like Blockbuster. And so I like that you have evolved and changed and learned what your users and community have wanted and have adapted that way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been around for about 15 years, and obviously we've learned more and more and more about how to create the courseware that does provide the best user experience that we can do.
So what types of people or companies have you worked with in the past?
Well, our original customers were content experts. We're deep into the automotive vertical that the people would send them in live. Then obviously with turnover, with no testing, they just weren't getting a very good return on their ROI on their training investment. So that's kind of the people that are content experts, whether it be the auto vertical, whether it's sales trainers that train insurance salesmen, realtors, anybody that's commission based appears to be very successful using Lightspeed. We also, for example, we have eBay Motors as a client that trains their dealerships on best practices of how to be successful doing online auctions for vehicles. We do restaurants. Villa Restaurant is a great client of ours. That again, it's back to how do we cover 50 locations with the same consistent message. So it's used for a variety of uses. We also did a partnership with Bravo TV. It's called Top Chef University, which we had a full culinary cooking school as our curriculum. Back when poker was popular, we did a poker VT virtual training with Daniel Negreanu, which was basically best practices on how to play Texas Hold'em. So it's been used for a variety of different purposes.
Yeah. Now, I love that you've worked with such a variety of quality clientele. I mean, that says a lot about your services and what you offer to your clients. So I know one of the things you specialize in, and you mentioned this before, is courses that are engaging. So what are some of the ways that you help to keep a course engaging so the student doesn't get bored and leave or drop off?
I think that some of the ways that we have done that is by delivering content in short intervals. So we will break a course into maybe 5-minute videos or sometimes even shorter. And we want to make sure that we are delivering something of concrete value often enough that people stay engaged and feel like they're getting that value out and don't disengage before they get there.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good, especially as our attention spans get shorter and shorter, right? We're not getting any more patient. And so do you have a rule of thumb? Is it a certain length or how do you know what an optimal length for a lesson is?
For a lesson, usually we break that down into 3 to 5 minute videos. The overall course, that varies quite a bit.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Now, what have you learned by producing courses for some of these top, industry leaders? Because we have a lot of course creators here that might not have that, eBay Motors client or things. So what could the average course creator learn from some of those top industry type of courses and programs that you've developed?
One of the biggest things we've seen that creates success is that those people have a dedicated person putting effort into their system on a daily basis. So it's not enough to like a system and say, I'm going to do this and get it all set up. But then if you don't actually put the work in and treat it as a business, it's not going to succeed.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Jennifer. I'm glad you said that because, whether it's a large company or an individual, I've met so many people that, like you said, they don't treat it as a business. They're trying to save, a buck here, a buck there, and they're really shooting themselves in the foot because and I'm a cheapskate myself in my own business. Hey, I like to save money with the best of them, but I also know the value of investing in myself, in my business, and things that will leverage for success. So I love that you said that.
Even more than that, there is the investment, but there's also just the time dedication. Like, okay, you're going to set it up. You want it to work for you, but how are you selling it? How are you getting it out in front of people? Are you marketing it? Are you talking about it when you are, say you're a speaker trainer? Are you talking about it at your live events?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I know you do a lot of high-end videos and production work, but what should a course creator think about when they're producing their own course video? So maybe it's just them or maybe they've hired a production company. Like, is there anything they should be thinking of to make the process easier or more effective or anything like that?
Well, first I would start by establishing your goals. So knowing who you're talking to is also very important, even down to their personality types, because then you can kind of take your content and mold it to speak to that person.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Do you have, when you work with, let's say, an influencer, whether they have their own TV show or something, how much time do you pick their brain and get the course out of them versus do they come to you with a course already in mind? Or how does that work?
Yeah, that process kind of varies depending on who we're dealing with. But a lot of times, just to add on to what Jennifer was saying, that the courseware that I think is really effective is when you can get the trainer or whoever's creating this content, if you can get them to really stick to the meat of what the end user is going to get out of the training and try to get them to cut down on some of the kind of the fluff, the kind of salesy, because if they've bought the product, they want results. And so if you can get them to stick to that piece, that's what we've really seen be effective in the market.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you said that. I had never thought of that. Hey, if they have gone through the work of buying the course, you don't have to resell them. You're really trying to provide the most value. I love that you said that. That's very good.
Exactly. And we run into a lot of our clients. They're just so used to selling that it's kind of hard to get them out of that mode. But if you can, it really, the content really benefits from that.
Sure. Now, what are some of the things that you all consider when designing a course? And, how can we benefit from that? Do you have a process that you go through both internally and externally, or what does that look like?
So in terms of designing a course, really, we try to take kind of a bird's eye view first, to see like the full outline of whatever program we're trying to put together, and then really piecing it from the top down until you get into the actual content. But you really want to have a clear idea of what the entire program is going to be. That way you're not kind of filming things that are unnecessary or that get redundant. You kind of stick to the heart of what you're trying to teach somebody. So that's how we approach it most times, is try to get like a really solid outline before we even start scripting anything.
Yeah. And that's good, because I think I know that process works, whether it's a solo entrepreneur that has a course, maybe they're an industry expert, all the way up through somebody that, like in eBay Motors, or somebody that has a huge audience and a platform, is really the simple concept of writing it down. Like you just said, creating that outline of what are the most important things I want to convey, and then how do I convey those, versus making it too complicated, which is easy for a lot of us. We want to teach our whole life's knowledge in a course, but that's not good. We need to boil it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you try to attack it head on and figure out where you're going as you write it, it just kind of it's really easy to get lost and kind of meander. So
yeah. Now, how do you work with courses, or I should say, how do you work with the knowledge that many students are wanting to learn on their smartphones or even tablets? Have you had to change your business or your strategy because people are watching these on their phones and maybe they're more distracted or they're on the go? Does that come into play?
Well, in our experience, we've tried to keep people's courseware to that kind of short, bite-sized material. So we've tried to get in front of that, because we've been doing this a while. So that helps. And then, the platform that we're on is, we've tried to stay ahead of the curve in terms of mobile-friendly design. And so we try to make everything, work just as well on a mobile device as it would on your home computer anymore.
Yeah, that's good. Now let's kind of turn a quarter a little bit and talk about, once that course is done, it's produced, it's built, it's on your platform, and it's ready to go out to the world. What are some of the marketing strategies that you've seen work well for your courses to sell more or promote better? Well,
one of the traditional ways is setting up a sales funnel and ads. We actually have an interactive landing page that we offer to people who are set up in our system. So it kind of uses the same technology that you would have in the full system, but on a landing page level. So people are getting a glimpse into how the system works, as well as the customer is getting feedback when that happens. So I don't know if I should explain the interactivity a little bit.
Yeah, a little more. And let me ask you this. So, and I'm kind of guessing at the answer here, but is the client responsible for marketing with you guys, or do you help with that?
We do both. Most of the time, the client comes to us and already has marketing in place. And we're adding into it. We will advise on how to integrate the course into their current marketing. There are times, though, that people are brand new and they don't have that marketing set up. So in those situations, we do help them with that. Great.
Now, we've talked a bit, maybe you danced around this software as far as Lightspeed. Is it a software? Is it a service? So tell me a little bit about Lightspeed and who it's primarily built for.
So Lightspeed is an interactive learning management system. Like Andrew said, it is mobile friendly, and it is really for anyone. It can be for anyone that is just starting out, trying to get their, side hustle going, and they want to start out small, or it can be as large as, big corporations that want to do internal training for their customers. What sets us apart is that it offers interactivity, which is, so for example, if you start a video and a typical system, you would push play, and what I've seen in the past when I actually taught online classes through a community college locally. And one problem I would have with my students is they would push play, walk away, come back, take the test at the end, fake their way through it. That's not possible in Lightspeed. Lightspeed has interactivity throughout the video, so the student has to engage in order to move the course forward. So we said we were keeping videos 3 to 5 minutes. There will be a person on screen speaking, and when a question pops up, buttons actually pop up on the video player, and the student has to choose an option. Well, say it was a yes/no question. The student who clicks yes is going to get a different follow-up video than the person who clicks no. So someone who might know the content really well is going to go through the course a lot faster than the person who struggles. The person who struggles is going to get more follow-up videos. And to speak to your earlier question, that's one thing people can keep in mind when building their courses is how are you going to reinforce the message for the people who struggle?
Yeah. I love that. I love that because, we've worked with some clients too that have these courses, and by law or whatever, they have, it has to be X amount of length and it can't be skipped and all that. And so I love that you guys have that feature to eliminate, kind of cutting the corners and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Right. So we can do everything from testing to surveying to even role play scenarios. And that's one thing that works well. Like maybe it's a customer service call and you're trying to train your employees on how to properly answer the phone. We can go through that process with them.
Nice. So tell me, what sets you apart from other learning management systems? I mean, there's a ton out there, but yet you guys have been able to rise to the top and work with a lot of prestigious clientele. So how have you guys done it, and what sets you apart?
Well, one big thing that that Lightspeed offers and has from the very beginning, and it comes from our focus on kind of the B2B market from that auto dealership, because auto dealers they'll pay for training to train their people, and they always have. So that's kind of where we started. And the big piece that Lightspeed does really well is accountability. So we have reporting features, we have push out reports. So it's very easy to track that your people are actually doing the training that you bought for them, or you can hold yourself accountable too, to kind of follow along in your training with report cards and what we call watchdog reports. But it's very robust, and we've had a lot of success with businesses that want to hold their people accountable to actually doing the training. So that's one big thing that we found that sets us apart in the market.
Yeah. Now, when clients come to you, well, let me ask you this: do you pursue specific clients or industries, or do you find that a lot of people pursue you because of where you are? You've kind of risen to the top in the industry, or is it both?
It really is a little bit of both, I would say. Some of the kind of bigger name people that we've got to pursue, they're busy, they're on the road, so tracking them down, the sales process is pretty long on stuff like that. But it usually turns out pretty well. We've had a lot of good success and kind of good experiences working with some of those kind of higher profile, busy people. They kind of see us as we try to be a partner for them, and that tends to be really helpful in creating the courseware in that process and in the kind of overall, sales and marketing piece for them.
Yeah. Now let's talk a minute about at the very beginning, you talked about where you came from and how you've changed and adapted and grown. And we've talked about how, with mobile phones and even tablets, your software has to adapt. Even the style of training has to adapt. It has to be shorter segments. So where do you see courses going in the future and training? Do you see any trends or any things that have stuck out to you as you are on the kind of the cutting edge of this?
one thing that we've seen, especially kind of in the application vertical with like restaurants and pieces like that, they've got 200 stores and they need to have their training be consistent across. We've seen a lot of people employ tablets and iPads, and so we've really had to kind of shift to kind of focus on that being the target um, technology that this is going to be deployed on. And we've seen that not just in kind of application, but we've seen that in generation in all of our clients. More and more people are training on their phones and tablets. So if you're not focusing on that, you are probably going to get left behind anymore.
Now, do any of your courses or many of your courses use like gamification or points or badges or anything like to make it fun besides the content being engaging? Any strategies you use or implementations with gamification, or is that kind of a case by case scenario?
It's more of a case by case. We have a couple clients that have done some things with gamification, like different kind of certification levels for the user, so they feel like they're progressing. As I know that's kind of a popular thing in our culture today. Everybody wants to feel like they're progressing, whether you're playing a video game or whatever you're doing anymore. So we have had some clients do a little bit of that. I think our main focus has always been on the content itself being engaging and feeling like more of a coaching experience than somebody kind of slogging through and just trying to progress. So while we have had a few clients really go for that gamification piece, I think our major focus has been on the actual content engagement piece.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I'm going to throw a curveball question in here at you. So what happens when you have, an industry leader or an expert? So they might be a public speaker or an author or whatever, business leader, and they have that audience. They have maybe even some content they've produced. Give me a scenario. What might that look like from start to finish when you talk to him or her? And, we're not talking about a big company like an eBay Motors, like a individual, almost like the Ziglar company. You've worked with Zig Ziglar and many others similar to that. How does that process look? I've always been intrigued by the start to finish process.
Well, it is, it can be a challenge with a client like that. A lot of times when we're dealing with a speaker trainer, somebody kind of with a high profile, most of them have books that they've made. And so to kind of engage some of them, because it's hard to just narrow anything down and just get them started, get them bought in on creating the content. So what we've done for a couple clients is we've taken their book and we've kind of helped them, coach them to do kind of the book plus. So do the content that's so good that's in their book, but make that more and make that engaging and kind of get users to experience the book, but also anything that they've come up with since they wrote that book, kind of add that in there. And that's usually a really good jumping off point to really get someone bought in on the process, show them that it does work. Like if you do focus on this and you make content that people want, you can sell it and be successful. And so that's one way that we've found to kind of get some of those higher profile, busy clients engaged and started in kind of the online courseware piece.
Yeah. I love that idea of a book plus, because a book, you can reprint, updated versions, or if it's digital, you can make changes and push those. But, having additional content in a course, in a program is so powerful and gives them an additional sales tool, something else they can promote and sell.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think we've talked about where somebody can learn more about Lightspeed, learn more about what you guys provide. Where can we go and learn more?
You can find information on us at lightspeedvtmidwest.com.
That's great. That's great. Now, I know we've talked about a lot here today. Is there anything else that would be helpful to the audience who are course creators? Some of those people are thinking about creating courses, and some of them already have their course out and they're teaching their audience. Any final items before we wrap up?
I guess just to reiterate that people that are going to be, purchasing courseware, like the individual user, people don't want to do training. Nobody wants to train. they're purchasing it so they can, grow as a person or get some sort of tangible result. So as long as you keep that at the forefront of both your marketing and your actual content, I think that's what, like, the end user, like that satisfied user, that's where you wind up getting those.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I like what you said, because it was funny. I was just watching a course promo yesterday, and the person was like, and we've got, 15 lessons. And he started talking about all the, like, I don't know, the stuff that the course had, but it was not the benefit to me. What am I going to learn through this course? And I find that a lot of people do that. Do you see the same thing?
We do see people kind of go down that road. Like, I've got 300 chapters. They want to make more money, or they want to be a better parent, or whatever they're looking for. It's not an amount of training. So
yeah, no, that's so good. That's so good.
Well, and something I would add is when you're setting up your marketing for your course, you, like Andrew was saying, you need to address the goals. You need to address what is going to be the takeaway, because if you're just out there offering fluff, even in your ad, people are not going to buy.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Have that content be jam-packed with valuable stuff. And like I think it was Steve said before, you've already sold them on the course, so pack it full with good stuff.
Exactly.
Well, Andrew, Steve, and Jennifer, I really appreciate you all being on the show here today. It's been fun learning more about, you and the software and services that you provide, and how that applies to the listener. So thank you so much for being on the Online Course Coach podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you. I learned several things during that interview, and I had a lot of fun talking with Andrew and Jennifer. And so it just shows you the breadth of the industry that we have. Whether you're a piano teacher trying to teach piano, or something like what Jennifer and Andrew are doing with Lightspeed VT, and producing these courses for huge, companies and industry leaders and personalities and stars. There is a lot of room in this industry. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't get intimidated when you see people that are doing, amazing things, and you feel like you're just at the starting point, because we've all started, right? Grant Cardone, Daymond John, and Zig Ziglar, when he was alive, they all started somewhere. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't look at somebody else's mountaintop experience and you're at the foothills. Yeah, it's going to take some work, and yeah, you have to get started. And yes, it took them maybe decades or more, multiple decades, to get to that mountaintop, but you need to climb your mountain at your pace. And so maybe you have a small hill you need to climb. Maybe you have a giant mountain range you need to climb, but just take it one step at a time. I've told this story a couple times, I think. When I was in junior high doing homework, I got overwhelmed. I came home and I was just overwhelmed by the quizzes and tests and homework and sports and everything. My dad said, hey, go out in the yard, get a bunch of sticks and bring them to me. And, I'm a junior higher. I probably think my dad's crazy. So I get a bunch of sticks. I go there. I bring them to my dad. He's like, all right, break that whole pile of sticks. And try as I might, even though I thought I was super strong back then as a, 6th or 7th or 8th grader, or whatever it was, I couldn't break the sticks. So I said, all right, Jeff, take one stick and break it. So I took one stick and I broke it. I said, take another one and break it. Took another one and I broke it. And before I knew it, I had broken that whole pile of sticks, one stick at a time. So I wanted to encourage you, what do you need to do today to break one stick? Maybe there was something you learned in this episode, in this interview. Apply that. Don't just listen to these and think, oh, wow, I got smarter. How fun. No, apply what you learned. Go back to some of my other episodes. Go on to onlinecoursecoach.com, search for a topic, and see what interviews there are for marketing, for video, for WordPress, for learning management systems, for building an audience. A lot of things that you're going to be searching for are already there. And so, take one stick at a time, do one thing at a time. If it's coaching, hey, reach out to me. I would love to help you, get started, get your course built, help you with marketing tips, improve your existing course if you have one. Maybe it is not selling well. I've coached several people with that as well. So what is it that you need to do next to get you to that next step of the process? So keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking action on your course. And it might be, like I just said, it might be you already have a course and you've kind of let it just dwindle. Well, you need to build that marketing strategy so you can sell more courses and, more importantly, so you can serve more people. And don't forget the Course Accelerator coaching group. If that is something that would fit you, if you need that extra help, that motivation, that accountability to get you to that next level, to build your audience and influence, to create your course, and to invest in yourself so you can have that foundation to create multiple courses, to have multiple streams of income, check out this group coaching. Again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching to learn more. See which package works best for you, and fill out the application to see if you're the best fit, and really to get a chance for me to get to know you. Where you are in your business. If you have a course, if you don't, if you have sales, if you don't, that's fine. Don't feel embarrassed. Like, oh, Jeff, I have a course, but it hasn't, it's sold to two people, 2 students. That's fine. We're going to tweak that course. We're going to improve it, customize it, optimize it, as well as create that marketing strategy to help you boost your sales. So don't feel embarrassed if you have 0 sales, 5 sales, or 100 sales, whatever that is. Maybe it's 1,000 or more. I know I can help you. So fill out that application and get started today. Again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching to learn more. Well, hey, keep coming back to these episodes. I love the emails, especially I've gotten the last several here. Just yesterday, I got a couple, and one of them said, well, both of them said, "Hey, I've been listening for a long time. I want to do some coaching. Let's get started." I love those, but I also love the ones that just say, "Hey, I've been learning this," or "My course is about that. Thanks for the show." Right? So keep listening to the show. Hey, I would be honored if you left a rating and review in iTunes, or if you're on the Android phone and you have a podcast app, I'd be honored if you left a rating there as well. But with iTunes, if you go to onlinecoursecoach.com/iTunes, you can leave a rating and review. That helps other people find this show and helps them be able to create their course and implement it. All right. Well, that is all for today. Keep coming back to these podcasts. Keep me updated on your course, what's going on with your industry, and if I can help in any way. So I say it every time, but my goal with this podcast, with my coaching, with courses, with everything really is to help you so you can teach many that will go on to impact millions.